the way that Nashville and its surrounding communities is growing, we have to look at the transit piece, and we have to do it as a region, not just as individual cities or communities. We have to look at how we plan for new developments, for housing, for workforce movement. We have so many blessings here because we're growing, but we have to plan for that growth and really work to make ourselves a world-class city beyond what we are now, and the way to do that is a great public transit system.
Alice is the current president of GNAR, gave us this. That was not just a showpiece. You'll hear later, realtors probably know more about location decisions and what people have on their minds about where they want to live and travel and work than anybody else. Think about it. And for the realtors to have been very aggressive in saying this needs to happen and we need to have this conversation says a lot. So we are thankful to GNAR and the National Association of Realtors that really provided the funding. And in that regard, Don, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask you to share what you shared at the beginning.
Sure, thanks.
This is
And
Don
also Marshall Carr, one of our vice presidents,
Yes.
is on your group as well. But I didn't even get to share this with Alice and Marshall. But
Sorry.
The National Association of Realtors called today. They have what they call their Leadership Summit coming up in about 3 weeks up in Chicago. And it's the incoming president for next year and people who are presidents of state and local associations and association executives from across the country. There'll probably be about 3,000 people there. And they've invited us to talk about you. So you're already famous. They said, we'd like to know exactly what's going on. Obviously, they've got $10,000 invested in this, but they're very curious about this. They're very excited about what the Transit Alliance and this particular academy is all about. So we'll have a few minutes in front of some significant folks across the country, and who knows, you may be duplicated in some other places. But thanks, Ed.
Thank you, Don, and thank you, Alice. Mayor Dean is not only the mayor of Nashville, but has been active in the establishment of the Mayor's Caucus of Middle Tennessee, on the Regional Transportation Authority Board, the Metropolitan Planning Organization Board, and other things. Most importantly, Mayor Dean is strongly advocating mass transit, strongly advocating a regional approach. So it's so appropriate to have Mayor Dean here with us to welcome us and kick us off today.
Well, thank you. I want to first let me thank Lipscomb University and the Andrews Institute for Civic Leadership for hosting this event and hosting the Academy. You know, Lipscomb has been such a great partner with the city and a great partner for our entire community, and we're just so thankful for what you all do and continue to do to help our city. And I'd also like to thank each one of you for agreeing to be a part of the Transit Citizen Leadership Academy. Whatever happens, it'll look good on your resume. A totally unique thing. You know, the Transit Alliance is an organization that resulted from, I guess, sort of a growing interest in Middle Tennessee in mass transit. Really the first thing that happened was that the mayors who were meeting together, and we started meeting shortly after gas went up to $4 and $5 and you had to wait in line for it, thinking that we had to have some sort of immediate response and have a plan how we can move forward with mass transit. And a couple of things resulted from that. I took a trip with some others to Denver where we learned about a mayor's caucus they had formed there, and I came back and basically stole the idea and asked all the mayors from Middle Tennessee to come to Nashville so we could form a caucus where we could meet and discuss regional issues on a regular basis. And we've done that, and that has been highly successful. The other thing that happened was that the private sector stepped up and formed the Transit Alliance, which is also modeled on a technique that was used in Denver to move mass transit through the approval process in terms of the public and for the councils and legislature. And we've got outstanding leadership with Charles Bone and Ed Cole and a very active board. And the Transit Alliance really is given the task of learning about transit and then going out and informing the public about it, informing the public about the benefits of transit to Middle Tennessee. And I firmly believe that transit is absolutely essential for our region. When you look at Nashville right now, there's a lot of great news out there in terms of the way we've been ranked recently. Forbes magazine ranked us #3 as one of the coming boom towns in the United States. Kipling-Gerd just said we were #3 an affordable value city to live in with a great future. And we also been ranked high, but most importantly, really by Rolling Stone magazine, and said we had the best music scene. There's a lot going on in our city and a really good vibe. As we come out of this recession and as we continue to grow, the needs for us to have a transit response is going to be there. And it's not lost on me that, you know, when I look around the country, the cities that we benchmark ourselves with and the regions we benchmark ourselves with, you look at Austin, Texas, you look at Charlotte, North Carolina, these are both regions and cities that have started light rail systems in the last year and a half. And if you look at a city like Indianapolis, which is also used as a benchmark for Nashville, Indianapolis is about where we are in this conversation. Hopefully we're a little bit ahead of them, but we're about at the same place. And we get compared a lot to Minneapolis too. And Minneapolis is now putting in a very involved light rail system. So the challenge is there, and it goes beyond just rankings. It goes to things such as the environment. I mean, clearly we are an area that needs to have alternatives to cars. We need to have cleaner air. We need to have the ability to get from point A to point B without using a combustion engine necessarily. We're always going to have cars, so that needs to be part of it. It's an economic issue for families. It is cheaper many times for people to have a transit alternative other than an automobile. When you look at the high cost of maintaining the car, you want to make that available for people in terms of attracting the workforce and making sure that families can make it here and be able to spend their extra money on things like education. And we also needed it to appeal to people. I think one of the things that's going to make this area attractive, and I certainly know this is true for Nashville, that young people getting out of school are going to want alternatives in how they can get around their cities. And having meaningful transit systems is going to be vital. So all of those things are important. All of those things are things that you're going to be talking about. And we're ideally suited right now to move forward. We have, I think, a very good MPO in this area that is active and is interested in mass transit and interested in transit alternatives. We have an excellently managed RTA. The train that runs between Nashville and Lebanon, its ridership has gone up dramatically. It's averaging over 1,000 now. Is that
We're up over 1,200, Mayor.
1,200 now. So as I said, grid management is doing very well. We have strong support from the various chambers, and we have the leadership from a very committed Mayor's Caucus and Transit Alliance. We have the pieces in place, and now it's time to roll up our sleeves and get the work done and see real progress. And as I said, the number one step is going to be educating the public about the benefits of transit and why we need to move forward. You know, we need to move forward in a very thoughtful way. We need to move forward in a way that keeps in mind the costs and the burden on the taxpayer. But this is the time for us to move forward. And I look forward to working with you all. And let me again say thank you for being here. I know it's everyone in this room is very busy and has lots of different things you could be doing right now. And Nancy, I know you have different things you can be doing right now. So we're very appreciative of it, and good luck to you all. Thanks.
Well, at first, I just feel very privileged and honored to be here. I know just reading through some of the bios, you're just such a distinguished group of individuals, and I'm hoping to bring some value added to the table. What I'm hoping to get out of the class is to figure out how to bring the concept to a reality. How to take this kind of hope that I know that many of us share and that common goal, and to work out definitive steps with timelines, budgets, what have you, about how to put those plans into place and make them a reality. And you know, I feel like Tennessee's such a great place. I feel like there are just so many things which make us Middle Tennessee a great place to live. I love the open spaces. I love the green rolling hills. Cumberland Plateau is just so beautiful. We have so many natural resources. And I think that transit integrates with the preservation of our open spaces as well as a smart growth looking forward to the future as well.